Hey y'all, it is our last speech together, our last class. The semester is coming to a close, and some of us are graduating next weekend, like myself. And so, since I am graduating, I thought it would be fun to show you guys a little throwback picture. Also, I apologize that you can see my camera and cup in the screen reflection. I realize that it will not look like that in person, but this is a little throwback picture of me and my grandpa. This was one of my favorite memories growing up, just because this was us at dinner time and we were eating all of the fruits and vegetables that we had grown that summer in his garden. One of my favorite things to do was while growing up was helping him with his garden. And so every summer or springtime we would go up there, we would start getting the garden ready, and we would get the soil ready, and then we would go pick out all the seeds that we would want to grow. So my favorite was watermelon. I actually liked watermelon so much that he called the watermelon seeds Avery seeds. So we pick out the watermelon, the squash, the cantaloupe, all of that, all the seeds that we want, and we would plant them, and then we would water them real good and make sure they were in a spot where they got sunlight, and all that. But this was an everyday thing. It wasn't just a one and done job. It was, you gotta come back, water them, watch over your garden as well. We had to make sure that animals or bugs weren't eating leaves, and so it was a lot of work to keep up with this garden. But in the end result was a big, giant, beautiful, healthy garden with a lot of fruits and vegetables that we got to eat. So this was what we were doing in this picture, and that was a lot of fun. But with that being said, I tell the story because our lives are just the same as a garden. The thoughts that we are planting and we're thinking are going to affect the whole way like we live our life and the kind of life we live. So I had this little saying is that the thoughts you plant are gonna become the life that you'll grow. And so when we look at the thoughts we're thinking every day, they should be positive thoughts. We should be waking up and going, okay, it's going to be a good day. I'm going to be in a good mood. I'm not going to let things affect me. You got this. It's like when you get up and you're ready to give the speech here in a little bit, you should be telling yourself that I got this, I got this, I got this, that you can do it. And so these thoughts that we're thinking heavily impact our happiness. And so I want to talk to you about the happiness advantage, this principle in this book I've been reading, and also how we can capitalize off of the happiness advantage, how we can use our happiness to traject our success in every part of our lives, and also how that's going to not only affect us in our lives, but like everyone around us as well. So to begin, I do want to talk about this book. So this is called The Happiness Advantage, same principle I'm talking about here, and this was written by Sean Aker, and he's actually from Waco, Texas. Fun fact there. But he talks about several principles on happiness and positivity and how they can influence our whole lives. And so the happiness advantage talks about how positive brains have a biological advantage over brains that are neutral or negative. And so this principle talks about how we can retrain our brains to think positive things, and how that is going to impact our happiness, and how that can also determine success in our performance in everyday life. And so there is a study that shows correlation between our happiness and our success. This book also talks about that we have this formula in our heads. We've been taught that we have to do well in school, get into a good college, get that GPA, and then graduate, get the good job, promotion, make the money, and that's going to determine our happiness. The happiness is the end goal. Well, we have it backwards. Happiness should be the first goal. Happiness has so much effect on every part of our life. And so this study that I was looking at by the University of California, it's their psychology department, looked at the correlation between happiness and success in several different domains of your life. So your marriage, relationships, your community, your creativity, even your health, and your work performance. Your happiness all, like, it affects that as much, or it affects that a lot. And so when we are thinking these thoughts and stuff in our head, we really want to be thinking positive ones, because those are going to boost our happiness. And you might think, hey, it's not that easy to just wake up and be positive. Well, I totally get that. That's why we train our brains. Happiness is a mood, but it's also a work ethic. This is a really great little saying to remember. I actually have it written on my wall. But happiness is a work ethic. It's a constant, training our brains, working to be thinking these good thoughts and stuff. And so looking at how we can capitalize on that happiness advantage, I came up with some things. First, yes, think these positive thoughts. That is so important. Those are just the basis. But also come up with happiness boosters. So do things that are going to boost and increase positivity and happiness in your life. So do the fun things that you enjoy. Infuse positivity into your surroundings. So by this, like if you walk in my room, I've got sticky notes everywhere, and they have quotes on them, positive thoughts. They have goals written down. They have affirmations of, my self-worth, just encouragement, saying I got this. Like I said earlier, just saying I got this, it really does have an impact on the way you perform and the way you think about yourself. And so infuse positivity into your surroundings. And then also, the last one, exercise your strengths. When we all came to Baylor, we took a core strengths test. You gave you about 5 of your top strengths, and then we would discuss on how we can use those in our life. Well, there is a study about these strengths and how to use them. Also, if you don't know what your top 5 strengths are and you don't remember that test, you can visit this website down here, www.viasurvey.org. And it's about a 15-minute survey. It's completely free, and that's going to give you your top 5 strengths. But these strengths that you should practice, they are having to do with the character and your makeup, and so they're going to be so just self-fulfilling when you were practicing these strengths. And so this study by the psychology department at the University of Pennsylvania had about 600 people, or 577 to be exact, take part in this little study. And so they had them all take the survey. They came up with their top 5 strengths, and then they said, hey, pick out one and find a new way to use it every single day for a week. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about your happiness levels. Well, they all found a significant increase in their happiness and also a decrease in depression and stress. And so they continued to just prolong the study, and they saw that the benefits of using these strengths and practicing them like this actually lasted longer than 6 months. So if we continue to use our strengths, find new ways to use them, and just in a positive way, then it's again going to just boost this happiness. And so that is just a really, really great thing there. And so next, I also want to talk about, you might be thinking, well, yeah, I can think these positive thoughts, I can boost my happiness, but what about outside influences of others? How am I gonna, how's this just, I can't control others, right? Well, you may not be able to necessarily control others, but you can influence them. These positive thoughts that you're thinking not only influence yourself and your happiness, but they are contagious to other people, okay? We thought COVID was contagious. Emotions are so contagious. There's a study done by the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior, and they talk about how emotions are so contagious. Your brain can actually pick up someone's emotions in like 0.3 seconds and duplicate and replicate those emotions. And so when we walk in a room and if we're being super negative and just in a bad mood, that's going to be contagious to other people. But if you walk in a room and you're positive, you're having a good day, you're just influencing others to have that positive, those positive emotions as well, that could change the whole trajectory of your work meeting, your classroom, a lecture, it could change your relationships. All kinds of things are influenced just by these thoughts that we start thinking. And so that's why it's so important to just be aware. And so I just want to leave you guys with these 3 things: is be aware of the seeds you're planting, the thoughts that you're thinking daily. We have so much power in the thoughts that we think, and so just be aware of what you are planting in your minds and in your hearts as well. And nourish your gardens. When you are planting these thoughts, nourish them, come back to them, rethink these things every day, tell yourself that you got it. And also the 3rd thing is just, the garden that you're growing is going to be the life that you live. So you have the power to change that, and also influence others with these thoughts you're thinking. So grow the garden that you want and go live the life that you want to live. Thank you.